a name that still echoes in the hearts of Ethiopians, a name that symbolizes vision, discipline, and transformation. He was not just a politician, but a thinker, a fighter, and a dreamer who believed that Ethiopia could rise again. His story is one of courage, intelligence, and lifelong commitment to his nation. Meles was born on May 8, 1955, in the small historical town of Adwa in northern Ethiopia, a place famous for the Battle of Adwa, where Ethiopians defeated a European colonial power. Perhaps that spirit of resistance and victory was already in his blood. He was the youngest child in his family. His father, Zenawi Azres, was a small trader, and his mother, Alemash Goitum, was known for her kindness and wisdom. From a young age, Meles showed signs of brilliance. Teachers quickly noticed his sharp memory, deep curiosity, and sense of responsibility. After completing his early education in Adwa, Meles moved to Addis Ababa to study at the prestigious General Wingate Secondary School, one of Ethiopia's best schools. There, he became known as one of the top students in the country. He won scholarships and achieved high academic honors. Later, he joined Haile Selassie First University, now Addis Ababa University, to study medicine. His dream then was to heal people's bodies, but soon another dream began to grow, to heal his country. The Ethiopia of the 1970s was a country in turmoil. Poverty was deep, the monarchy was falling, and the people were suffering. When the Derg military junta led by Mengistu Haile Mariam took power in 1974, many young Ethiopians hoped for freedom. But instead, the country fell into repression, war, and bloodshed. Meles could not stay silent. He left university before completing his medical degree and went north to join the struggle for freedom. Alongside other young idealists, he helped found the Tigray People's Liberation Front, known as the TPLF, in 1975. Their goal was clear: to fight injustice and create a democratic Ethiopia. Life in the mountains was extremely hard. Hunger, sleepless nights, endless marches, and the sound of gunfire became their daily life. But Meles stood out. Not just as a fighter, but as a thinker. He studied politics, economics, and revolutionary theory during the struggle. Even in the middle of war, he spent nights reading by candlelight, planning how to rebuild the nation once freedom was achieved. For 17 long years, the struggle continued. The TPLF grew stronger and eventually formed a coalition with other groups, creating the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, or EPRDF. Meles became one of its key leaders, respected for his intelligence and calm strategic mind. Finally, in 1991, the Derg regime was defeated. Meles Zenawi emerged as the leader of the transitional government of Ethiopia. For the first time, the country had a chance to start over. In 1995, Meles Zenawi became the first Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. He would lead the country until his death in 2012, serving for 21 years. When Meles took office, Ethiopia was one of the poorest countries in the world, but he had a dream: to lift millions out of poverty and to modernize the nation. He focused on infrastructure, education, and economic reform. Roads began to connect cities that were once isolated. Electricity reached villages that had lived in darkness. Schools and universities multiplied, giving new hope to young Ethiopians. He launched major projects like the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, a symbol of independence and progress. He believed Ethiopia could generate its own power, create its own future, and no longer depend on aid. Meles was not an ordinary politician. He was a thinker. He believed in a model he called the developmental state, inspired by the success of countries like South Korea and Singapore. His idea was simple: the government must take a leading role in the economy, guiding growth, investing in industries, and protecting local businesses until the country becomes strong enough to compete globally. He often said, "We cannot copy the Western model. We must find our own way to development." His approach brought impressive results. Ethiopia's economy grew faster than almost any other African country during his rule. Millions were lifted out of poverty. He gained respect across Africa and the world. Internationally, Meles represented Africa at the G8, the United Nations, and the African Union. World leaders admired his deep understanding of economics and his sharp debating skills. But leadership is never easy. Meles's government faced criticism for limiting political opposition and controlling the media. He believed that too much political chaos could destroy Ethiopia's stability. Supporters said his strong hand was necessary to protect the country's unity and growth. Even those who disagreed with his politics often respected his discipline, intelligence, and focus. He was known to work late into the night, reading books and reports until dawn. He lived a simple personal life, humble, private, and deeply dedicated to his work. He rarely took vacations, believing that time was too precious to waste. In 2012, Meles Zenawi suddenly passed away in Brussels after a short illness. His death shocked the nation. For days, millions of Ethiopians filled the streets, crying, singing, and remembering the man who changed their country's direction. World leaders paid tribute. They described him as one of Africa's most visionary leaders, a man who put his nation's interests above his own. Even today, his vision continues through the institutions, policies, and projects he began. The Grand Renaissance Dam, the new universities, and the fast economic growth all remain part of his legacy. Meles Zenawi believed deeply in education and youth. He often told young people that knowledge was the key to Ethiopia's transformation. He once said, "Our future depends not on what others do for us, but on what we do for ourselves." His life teaches us many lessons: to dream big even when the odds are against us, to stay disciplined and focused even when life is hard, and to love our country not with words, but with action. Meles Zenawi came from a small town, but his vision reached the world. He left behind not only buildings and roads, but a dream of a strong, self-reliant Ethiopia. This was the story of Meles Zenawi, the man who dreamed to transform Ethiopia. His journey from a student in Adwa to a global statesman reminds us that leadership is not about power, but about purpose. If you found this story inspiring, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Inspiring Lives, where we celebrate the people who changed our world with courage, vision, and heart.